Second.
Thank you.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Steve Workman.
Here.
Jason Kyle.
Here.
Dennis Miller.
Here.
Angela Woodward.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good evening again, everyone, and thank you for joining us. To our viewers at home, members of our audience, members of council, Mayor Miller, Attorney Bush, Director Paxton, welcome all. First item on the agenda this evening will be the approval of the minutes from our regular session, June 4th meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes, I'll ask for a motion to approve as submitted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Minutes will stand approved. First ordinance this evening will be an ordinance accepting the annexation to the city of Ashland of certain territory in Montgomery Township and declaring an emergency.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
As you know, this process started back in March of this year, I believe. That's when the Ashland County Board of Commissioners first considered the possible annexation to the city of Ashland, a little over a half an acre of land next to Simonson Holdings out on 511, State Route 511, north of our city. The request came to us on behalf of Simonson Construction that wanted to expand their facility. And if you don't know, currently they are right on the border, right on the corporation limits of the city. Well, the law director and staff have navigated through the annexation process, and now it finally lands in the council's lap to decide whether or not we in fact approve the annexation of this .585 acres of land in Montgomery Township.
Thank you, Mayor. Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye. I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Ordinance 39-24.
Next, we have an ordinance amending ordinance 10-22 by adding additional designated depository institutions for the deposits and investments of the city of Ashland, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Good evening.
Hi, Larry.
The city goes about every 5 years. I think it's mandatory, maybe 7 now, but anyways, every so many years, the city has to go out for depository bids for its banking services. And we are currently within a cycle of doing that. We have had some changes of some financial institutions. Others who originally bid on that and did not enter into a contract with the city, as well as a new financial institution that is going to be building a facility in our community. This is to the city's advantage to have these financial institutions thriving within our organization, our community. In doing that, there are a lot of municipal governments that may have one financial institution or may not have any banking services located within its corporation limits. And we're very blessed to have so many institutions that are working within this. This ordinance allows us to enter into the contract for financial institutions that we currently do not have contracts with. It goes through the February the 10th of 2027, which is when the current term expires. And we will be going through this process in 2026 so that we can get that in line and ready to go before February of '27.
Very good. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Since we're just amending all of them in the original ordinance today, and we're just
That's true, just to
amending for
to
these three.
include these
Gotcha.
institutions.
I thought that's what it was. Want to make sure.
Anyone familiar with my background will remember that I worked for Sutton Bank, but I retired from there in end of 2022. So I'm able to vote on this with no conflict of interest.
All right. With that, then, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Again, I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Motion to approve the ordinance?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Ordinance 40-24.
This isn't story time, but it's interesting. I had not thought of this for literally decades, and I don't know that it's necessarily factual, but seeing and listening to what Larry has just said, we do have so many different banks, and more are moving into the area. And I remember when I was a little boy, my grandmother would tell me that you could tell how rich a city was by the number of banks in that city, the number of different banks. So if she had any truth to her statement, that would show that the city's doing fairly well, because we certainly do have new banks moving in, and there hasn't been one move out for a long time.
That's correct.
There's your sign.
Hopefully she was right.
After spending practically a lifetime in banking, I've never heard that.
Well, I don't know that it
But-
was,
But you're probably right. I think there's some truth to that.
it would make
Yeah.
sense, because they have to have deposits,
Yeah.
so.
That's-
Absolutely.
That's interesting. Thank you, Mayor. Next, we have an ordinance approving an enterprise zone tax incentive application for JT and Sons LLC and Harris Welding within the city of Ashland, Ohio.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
So tonight, we bring before you an application for a new enterprise zone agreement. This involves Harris Welding. If you don't know the history of Harris Welding, it actually started here in our city back in 1964. And the original owner that started Harris Welding started on Commercial Avenue, and at that time, he had 2 employees. Well, eventually, one of those employees became Paul Kokendorfer. Paul Kokendorfer actually ended up buying Harris Welding about 21 years later in 1985. And at that time, the company now had 7,500 square feet and 8 employees, so it had grown over those 2 decades. Paul, of course, eventually brought his son on board, and that's the gentleman that we all know most likely if you're involved in the community, and that's John Kokendorfer. And John, of course, currently owns and operates Harris Welding. However, they've changed their location. They now occupy 35,000 square feet, and they're located out on US 250 across from our industrial park. At this point, they have 24 employees, so the company has consistently grown over the years. And although he is not running the facility yet, he is learning the ropes, and John's son has just joined the team as one of their engineers. So it's a multi-generational company here in our community. They now are wanting to expand once again, and this time they want to add 15,000 square feet to their existing 35,000 square feet. And they want to do so that they can buy additional equipment that they would use in their processes, as well as have more space to store materials in under roof. We recently went out, Cameo Carey, our Economic Development Director, and I went out and toured the facility with John, sat down with him to discuss his plans, and as always, I think we were impressed, and not only were we impressed, but the state of Ohio, Jobs Ohio, is impressed by the operation, and I believe they're gonna also assist him with a grant, I believe $25,000, to help with his project cost. The project is actually expected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1.6 to $1.8 million. So it is a significant investment, And I've said before that when it comes to economic development, we have a three-pronged strategy: retention, expansion, and attraction. And this one checks the first two boxes. We're retaining those 24 jobs and expecting that he will add several more jobs over the life of this enterprise zone agreement. So I would respectfully ask that you consider providing a new enterprise zone agreement to Harris Welding, and the terms would be 75% for 10 years, a 75% reduction for 10 years, which is consistent with what we've offered to all of the other businesses that have deep roots in our community and have continued to grow.
And the city schools and the career center have approved. this as
Absolutely,
well.
yes.
Yeah.
In this particular case, they don't have to officially vote on it, but they are provided notification before it comes to you.
Right. Another success story.
It is locally grown.
That's great.
I think we all know John and Tracy Kokendorfer, and just top-notch
Yeah.
people, and the business is thriving, from what I understand and my experience. But, yeah. So with that, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Ordinance 41-24.
It's also worth noting that they are a local business, like so many others, that support other local businesses here.
Right.
And as I sit here, I think it's Harris Welding, for example, that built the marquee for the new theater. There've been a number of different businesses that have had specialized, I don't know, equipment or, yes, exactly, done to meet their needs. And so they really have proven to be a wonderful corporate citizen, and not to mention the fact that they are very much involved in all of our charities and nonprofits
Oh, yeah.
and so on. So they certainly do give back to the community.
Great.
All right, moving to resolutions, we have a resolution declaring council's intention to vacate a certain alley located in the city of Ashland, Ohio.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Woodward,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
All right, this one we'll put up on the screen. I don't know that I need to stand. I think most people will be able to figure out where this is. If you take a look at the map that's on your screen right now, you will see Taco Bell located here on the bottom left-hand corner. And of course, there's the green mode area that separates Taco Bell from what has just been renamed the Main Street Bank. And you can see, actually, I will stand. It might be easier if I stand up here and point. You will see that there is an existing alley that cuts through right next to the bank's driveway on both sides. And the truth is, most people probably don't even realize that that is a public alley because it's used solely for the bank's business. And just recently, the bank, we were talking with the bank about making improvements to some of this area, and there are potholes in that pavement, and that's when we discovered that, wait a second, it's on publicly owned land. And as we've discussed many times as we've gone through these alley vacations, the question that we ask, our law director always asks, is does it serve a public purpose? And in this case, the engineering staff and myself don't see that it serves a legitimate public purpose, especially this section of it, but even this section, because it does not direct you to any other properties other than the bank. So tonight, we're asking you to begin the process and set a hearing date to vacate this alley.
So is the drive-through, the black roof right there?
Yes.
It's now closed, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly, but still owned by the bank.
Okay. But no longer in use.
So with that, then, we have a proposed hearing date of September 3rd. If there's no objection, I'll ask for a motion to set that date as a hearing date for this hearing. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Oh,
The resolution. And then set the hearing date, or within those parameters, September 3rd? Okay, yeah. So with that, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Thank you.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Thank you, Terry. I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye. Motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
I'll
Second.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Resolution 8-24.
All right. There are no public hearing items this evening, no old business, but we do have new business, and that is we are in need of a motion to approve the City of Ashland, Ohio opting in to participate in the Kroger opioid settlement agreement as part of the continuing opioid litigation, and so notify the city's consortium council that not later than August 12th, 2024. And with that, I'll refer to our Attorney Bush for more detail.
So this just adds an additional defendant into the ongoing litigation that's been going on for years now, and makes all the sense in the world to do so. There's no need to, go against what everybody else is doing here.
Very good.
No brainer.
So we need a motion to allow for this to become for, what's the proper terminology? For
Opt-in.
opt-in?
Yeah.
To include
Yep.
Kroger in the settlement. Is there such a motion?
I will so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Miller.
Aye.
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 And with that, there is no further new business. Moving then right to Finance Director's report.
I have no report tonight.
Larry, thank you. Moving then to council comments, Mrs. Woodward, if you'd like to go first.
Well, as we know, it's 90 outside. So last night, I did put on my Facebook page, but I wanted everybody to know that there are some cooling centers in Ashland. Not everybody has air. So the Council on Aging, the Kroc Center, and the Sheriff's Department are 3 places that you can go to get a break from the heat. So I think it's important for some of our citizens to know where they can go. And of course, if the pool, you can always go there to take a break as well. But that's it.
Mr. Miller?
Last Friday, the city, as they have done for many years, put on an appreciation luncheon for all the employees, the police department, the fire department. So it's a nice benefit to get recognized for those employees and staff, and we sure appreciate them, all their service that they do, and the police and the fire. And so we have outstanding organizations that just support everything that we put together. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Mr. Kyle?
I don't have anything.
All right. Well, I will say that this past week I had the honor of receiving an invitation to the State House from Mrs. Melanie Miller, our state representative, to witness the vote on what is termed the Never Alone Act. And Mayor, I'm sure you're familiar, which is a bill pending Senate approval now, which she can speak better on this than I can, but it would allow access to our loved ones who are in any health congregate, they call it, health facility, hospital, nursing home, et cetera. For example, those that were without access to loved ones during the COVID period. This would make, this bill, if enacted, would make it basically against the law to limit that access in the future and even have monetary damages connected with it. So with that, I would, the bill was passed through the House unanimously, but it needs to go to the Senate now for their approval and then to the governor to be enacted as law. So I would ask council if, with your approval, I would like to invite Mrs. Miller to the council to speak publicly to the council on that pending bill, if it meets with your approval. just a nod of the head
Yes.
would suffice with that. Mayor, do you have any issues with that?
No, no.
I think it affects our community and think that we would all benefit by the passage of that bill. So with that, I'll make that contact. So thank you. Moving then to mayor's comments. Go ahead, Mayor.
You mentioned it, but it's also worth noting that this day and age, it's very hard to find any piece of legislation that has bipartisan support. And that bill passed without a single no vote.
Yes, it did.
So Democrats and Republicans supported that because I think we all understand the importance of being able to have an advocate or caregiver or loved one with us when we're in those medical and healthcare settings. So hopefully the Senate sees that is a priority for Ohioans. Two items I want to mention to you tonight. The first one simply will draw your attention to something you've probably already received and maybe even thrown away, and that is the letter that you, as a citizen of Ashland, participating in our electric aggregation program, have received at your home or at your business. Of course, if you're part of our aggregation program, you've known that Dynegy has been the provider of our electricity. Due to some recent changes, they will be updating their system, and that evidently triggers a notification with First Energy Ohio. And so you'll see a change on your bill, but do not fear, you're still part of the electric aggregation program here in the city if you were before. And Dynegy will continue to provide our electricity. So,
Can I add to that?
yes,
I got a letter from Ohio Edison after I got that, saying that I was enrolled in Dynegy.
okay, good.
So it was
I haven't seen that one
It was
yet.
confirming.
Good.
It confused me for a minute because I was like, I didn't unenroll, but I think it was just that switch over.
Exactly.
So, to confirm, so everybody should probably receive that as well
Yes,
eventually.
and I don't think I have received that one yet. Have you, Larry? I don't think I have. Well, the one thing I will mention, just to clarify, it's pretty clear in the letter that they sent us, but you do not need to take any action.
Correct.
All right?
Interestingly enough, I got a phone call today from a different electrical aggregate. And as soon as I mentioned, I said, well, I live in the city of Ashland. Oh, never mind, we can't beat that rate.
Very
That's,
good.
that's what the lady said on the phone. I was like, all right, good.
Wow, very good. That is a good testimony. And then finally, just want to remind everyone, since we won't be back together again before the big day, next week is Balloon Fest. It's hard to believe that it's already here, but Thursday evening, I believe the festivities kick off at 6 p.m. at Freer Field. They have a number of new activities that they're bringing to the festival this year, not the least of which is helicopter rides. You do have to pay. They're $50 a ride, and they will only accept cash. I just found out today. But that is a new addition to this year's program, and of course, they've got bands set up for all throughout the weekend, and hopefully the weather cooperates so we get to see the balloons up. I believe they have 31 balloons coming this year, and 2 are shapes, special shapes, Tweety and Sylvester from the old cartoons. But it's hard to believe, but we're already to the weekend before July 4th. So we invite everyone out to come and enjoy what has become a trademark, I guess, of summer in the city of Ashland. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. With that, then we'll move to comments and questions from our audience. If there's anyone here who would like to address council, now would be the time to do it.
I have a comment and a question.
You certainly can, Pastor Swain.
Comment is, not long ago I was,
Do you want to
If
go,
if
do
you
you want to
would
go up
step
there?
up to the podium.
That way everybody can hear you.
State your name and the ward you live in, please.
I'm George Swain. I live on Buena Vista Avenue in Ashland.
Thank you.
And the comment I have is, a couple weeks ago, I was driving through Hayesville. And if you look at the signposts, the lights down there, they have pictures, posters of all of our veterans. I thought that was really nice. So it's just a comment.
Yes.
Question I have is, on Buena Vista and on Keene Avenue, we have these blue and yellow flags in every yard, and I have 4 in my yard. Does the city have any limits on the amount of time that these flags
Great question.
can remain? I think they were put in there in like April. I've been mowing around them, but it would be really nice to be able to mow my yard without flags. I like the construction, though. We're looking forward to the digging that's going on. We're not negative. We're just trying to figure out, is this going to be an all summer?
And so
long
they
thing?
have been up here for more than a month?
Yes. Yeah.
Then you can remove them because they would have to place them again before construction begins.
Okay.
So there
Utility
is a set
location.
number of days, but I don't
30
know
days.
for certain. Is it 30 days?
Yeah, if you call before you dig, and then you go 30 days without penetrating the ground, then it's invalid and you have to call again.
So there is a city ordinance that limits the amount of time.
That's a
that flags
state,
can be-
Yes.
that's a state law.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
You can mow to that.
And thank you for providing our invocation this evening, Pastor
Yes.
Swain. So, thank you. We always value you and appreciate you coming here. So if there are no public comments, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.